NSF line. At that time, the response continued, and there was 4 individuals that were transported by medical with unknown injury for medical evaluation. At this time, the response is no hazard to the public. There is no hazardous materials that we are concerned about for public safety. We have Vernon County Hazmat team here working with BNSF Hazmat due to the cargo that was being carried. The cargo that being carried is batteries, oxygen, and paint. We have them with the help of the cleanup, and they're here in case the situation would take a turn. At this time, we have no prediction of how long the roadways will be closed for. Please follow detour signs and bear with us as we clean this up. Is there any questions for me?
What caused this derailment?
At this time, it is still being investigated.
Does it have anything to do with flooding?
I cannot make that determination at this time.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's been happening over there? I've been seeing the rocks and the sand go in and out for several hours now.
So right now, BNSF is creating a way to clean up this cars, and they're building right now access ways to be able to get the cars out of that hazardous area.
And is there a booning process taking place that is helping prevent other material and debris from going into the riverways?
Yes, they are currently booning, and that has to do with the diesel fuel that the engines have, and they are trying to recover everything, but there is no hazardous amounts at this time.
Do you know how many cars went into the water?
It is unknown at this time how many cars.
And there was a train derailment back in 2016. Do you know how far this is from where that happened? And that was caused by flooding. That sounds like at a great event. Do you know if this is the same area or stretch of track where that happened?
It would be further north where that happened. Not the same stretch of track. That had to do with a bridge. I was the director of emergency management during that, and that was a flooding due to one of the bridge accesses on that rail line.
We know definitely that the hazardous materials, the batteries and so forth, are on the cars that derailed?
Yes. The ones that we have control of is where any of the batteries would be. So at this time, we're not concerned about any hazardous to the public.
So the batteries didn't go into the water?
No, the batteries have not went into the water.
How many crews are on scene to help with this effort?
So outside of all of the BNSF different assets and private contractors they've brought in, I would estimate about 20 to 30 different agencies that did respond.
There was one person who was hurt, it sounds like, was the initial report. Do we have a status update on that person?
Not at this time, no status update.
Do we know whether they were all crew members or what was the status of people?
All 4 that were transported were crew members, and they were transported for a medical evaluation.
To the cross?
I am unaware of where they went.
How would you characterize this to the public and for people who live nearby that are concerned about what is happening here?
I can tell you that the community response has been nothing short of amazing. This many volunteer fire departments, volunteer EMS agencies coming at this fast and setting up incident command was nothing short of phenomenal. The public that is concerned, I can tell you BNSF is very careful during this, and they continue to do all of their inspections that they continue to do.
Do you know why the train was going despite flooding anyway?
I cannot answer that.
Your thoughts about this?
I think that this community's response is something that should be noted during this. My thoughts during this are, we are very blessed to have the response we had. There is nobody hurt. There is no environmental hazards. Everything that could have happened did. So who was in charge should really give them a pat on the back, because even by the time I got here, things were going just as they planned.
How long do you think it'll last till we know the cause?
That would be on the BNSF's determination along with the federal rails. So we're kind of on their timeline for that one.
They're the ones who assess the cost.
Yes.
And now, other than the rocks and sand that's being dumped to access the fallen cargo, how else is this situation under control and like getting the cargo out of the water?
So they are starting a plan. What they will do is make sure that they continue to have control of anything that could be a hazardous substance or a danger to public, and they will continue to work with local teams. Our Vernon County local Hazmat has been working with BNSF hand in hand during this, and it's been a great response to see them work together. Not one person is telling the other what to do, they are working hand in hand.
Any idea when the roads will be open?
At this time, it's undetermined, so until you hear otherwise, you can check with 511 and check road statuses.
And there was 2 cars that were together that were in the river. Is there any updated status on where they are at?
Yes. So during this derailment, 2 cars did go south in the Mississippi. It was determined that the cargo of that was paint, so it is non-hazardous, and we were lucky enough to be able to have boat crews out there that did have the ability to secure that to the bank. So it is secured and not traveling any further south down the Mississippi River.
There were mentions of, sorry, and this may have been asked before I got here, but there were mentions of lithium batteries. Were there any of that go into the river at all? Or?
No lithium batteries entered the river at this time. They are still on board of the train, but at this time it is not a hazardous concern, but still a precaution. That is one of the reasons we have hazmat teams here, for the precautions of the lithium batteries, the paint, and the oxygen containers.
How does this all start? How did it all start? How did the whole train go down?
So unfortunately at this time we still don't have a determination of what caused this train derailment, but hopefully in the future we'll know more. If anyone doesn't have any more questions for me, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Masati, who is the incident commander. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, anybody? You can stand right here, if that works for you.
Right here?
Yep.
Your name and who you're representing.
Chris Masati, I'm the fire chief of DeSoto. And
Spell your name.
okay, Mussatti. And I'm the fire chief of DeSoto, and I was currently out of town because I, like volunteers, do work during the day. And I was made aware of this by Vernon County, and then I contacted our emergency government director, Brandon Larson, right away, and he told me the situation, and all the other fire departments are automatically paged out to respond, set up a perimeter, start rerouting traffic and everything like that, and just assess what happened, what went in the river. And we have very easy information to get on the train cars and stuff through the apps on our phones that we carry nowadays. So it's just basically stand back, wait for the cavalry to show up, because we're definitely not a cavalry, and try to ascertain as to what actually went in the river, and that's about it. Right now we're just standing by, making sure the scene is safe and helping out the railroad conduct their business as they usually do.
You mentioned you're volunteer. I'm sure there's a lot of volunteer staff here. Is there a plan as this progresses to cycle people out?
Yes, there will be plans put in place that people will be rotated as time goes on, but as has happened in many cases that we've had derailments up through the years that I've been on the department, the railroad usually covers everything pretty good as far as taking care of what they need to take care of and making sure everything happens as it should. So pretty much we're just here as backup at that point, and fire just in case something happens that is unexpected. But I was informed that nothing hazardous has gone in the river yet, and there's nothing explosive that I know of, other than some, I'm not sure if they're oxygen air cylinders. Yeah, so if they're full, that would be the only thing that we'd have to worry about explosive-wise. But no threat to the public as far as that goes.
Can you talk at all about what went through your mind, or talk about any concerns that you
I could say it, but it's not for TV. But you can about imagine, because I drive dump truck for a living, and I was over on the other side of the river fighting the rerouting problems over there when it came over my phone and popped up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. During the day, hardly nobody around, and this has to happen, But we train as best we can with and Burlington has given us training and what to do and how to react in cases like this, so it helps a lot.
What are the aspects or what are the elements that you're concerned about when you hear about a train derailment?
What's actually derailed? What's in these containers? Because I know that they carry so many various chemicals, hydrocarbons, you name it, and there's no telling what actually got hurt and what didn't get hurt and what's leaking and all the things that run through your mind. Because we don't have the capacity for a major event, where we have spillage and stuff like that. We don't have nothing immediately to fight it with, And so we rely basically on Burlington to make sure they can get some equipment down here and do some mitigation, and assist us in that way, because Hazmat team is well trained. I used to be on the Hazmat team, and they're well trained to handle these hazardous material issues and stuff like that. And they know what's going on and what, how they have to react depending on the chemicals.
In your experience down here, how many train derailments have you witnessed in this area?
Probably 4. Yeah. And this is a shocker because we haven't had a train derailment here in DeSoto in probably since 90-something. It was really early.
How does this compare to some of the other ones you've seen?
This one's a little bit more trickier because of where it is. The other ones occurred a little bit further up the road where they had land to work with, so they could upright cars right away and things like that. And none of those had any hazardous materials that dumped either. But this one's a little bit trickier because now they have to build their platform to work off of.
How much harder does the flooding make it, and was there flooding with the other ones?
No, there were no floodings with the other ones. I never heard an actual cause of them, but they just derailed. And with this one here, I assumed right off the bat that it was flooding because I didn't get any information. I just got the information from dispatch. But I just did not figure this side of the river and these tracks, the way they were so well maintained. And they do stand, as you can see, higher than the highway. So if I would believe if there was a flooding issue that caused this, we'd have problems with the roadway too.
So you don't think it was flooding?
I don't think so. From what I've been hearing so far, no, I don't think it was flooding.
So as someone who kind of came later to the party, how do you feel that your teams and your crews kind of did in this response?
They worked really well together. They did. All 3 departments responded quickly and did what they were supposed to do, what we trained for, the best we can. Like I said, the lack of manpower during the day really hurts a little bit, but as long as we can pool the departments and get them together, we have numbers to work with.
Do you expect crews to work through the night?
Yes. It's going to be a major undertaking to build all those roads, get the material to build all them roads and platform areas for them to work off of.
Yeah, where's that material coming from?
Well, currently, the rock they've been hauling in for the last couple hours is coming from the Pedretti Quarry on Highway 56 above Genoa. And once that's depleted, I don't know. We've hauled it as far as from home in Wisconsin for other railroad incidents of this type, back when we had our flash flooding. So it can come from any quarry, anywhere. It all depends on who's got the rock that they require, because it just can't be, any size rock. They have a pretty good idea what they need for the heavy equipment they're going to deploy.
Can you walk us through how they are doing that and how they're using that?
What do you mean? Pardon?
About how they're using the quarry material and what are they doing over here? What are they doing tonight?
What they're doing right now is they're bringing rock in by dump truck, and they're, like they said, they're private contractors calling whoever they can, and they start from the road's edge and start dumping and slowly dump a little more, push it out with a dozer, and dump a little more and push it out with a dozer until finally they reach their destination and you've got a new road.
How much damage to the track?
It doesn't look like a whole lot of damage to the track from what I have seen. I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you honestly how much actual damage there is, but from what I can see, you know, the engines are still upright for the most part, and it just looks like the car's just kind of accordion together, and so there's always some. And I want to just mention, too, that Craig Thompson, the Wisconsin Secretary of Transportation, is here with us, too. I don't know if you want to answer any questions, but and also Wisconsin Railroad Commissioner Don Bruick is here as well. They were on the scene pretty quick as well, too. And everybody's coming from so far away.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We do have our hazmat lead here if anyone has questions for him. Otherwise, that's what I got for you guys. Anyone want to hear from the hazmat lead? Hazmat team? Brandon, Keith.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Mind just start saying and spelling your name for us and your title?
Yep, Brandon Larson's BRANDONLARSON, Director of Vernon County Emergency Management, along with the Vernon County Hazmat Team Director.
So how dangerous could these lithium batteries be if they were potentially...
If the lithium were exposed to the water, if they were to break open and mix with water, there is a reaction with that. So we're here because of that was originally reported. We're finding that they're not, there's no issue with them right now. So we're just standing by. We're still trying to mitigate some fuel leaks, but we're taking care of what we can right now.
So there's fuel that's in the river. What kind of an impact does that have?
It's right now. It's fairly contained to the river bank. Right now, our team is deploying some absorbent boom to kind of contain and soak that up.
Do you know how much fuel?
Not at this time, no.
What's most important for people who are worried at home, who are worried about this situation? What do they need to know right now?
Right now, the scene is safe as far as any hazmat issues. We've been in contact with BNSF, have their train consist, have been in contact with their hazmat team members, and talking through every train car and identifying what's in there, so we know what is in every car. And we feel that right now we're doing okay. We're just, like I said, standing by and mitigating a few other issues.
Have they said why the train was going despite so much flooding?
I have not heard anything in regards to that, no.
Clear.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We will also put out a
Marcus,
quick
nice to meet you.
news release after this, kind of what was said, summarizing it up. And if it were determined that anything changes and it develops, we'll set up another news conference, and we would have it at the same location. So just watch your emails, watch our Facebook page. We always put it out on our Facebook page. I know some of you guys aren't local. It's just Crawford County Emergency Management. Our PIO always puts it out on there. So make sure you're looking for follow-up. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was about to say. It's good. Yeah, he's day side, I'm night side, so we're gonna have it all day long. I know I've got your name. Colton, Alex. Yeah. Nice to see you again, Alex. Always for fun stuff, right? Oh yeah.